Alright, tonight we will be doing Revelation chapter 16 only. Been trying to do 2 a night, but this one's a little too much. In fact, we may not be able, I may have to go back to 1 per week again. Alright, these last 7 books, there's a lot of symbolism. It gets kind of deep. It's going to require me to go back and forth quite a bit. We're probably going to end up spending quite a bit of time outside of Revelation again. It's going to be fun. Let's get after it. Alright, now, based on the title of this chapter, I don't know if you guys have an NASB or not, but the NASB gives me the titles, gives the title to each chapter, and then it gives little subtitles for different sections, which is kind of cool. It's a neat feature of it. And this chapter, it titles it The 6 Bowls of Wrath. The 6 bowls are our indication that we are at the last part, where we've gone past the mid-tribulation section, which is probably somewhere about 1.5 years. Actually, it's probably somewhere about 2 years, maybe 3, the mid-tribulation section. Okay? And once you hear some of these bowls of wrath, as I go through them, it'll probably be very plain why, more than likely, these will happen at the very tail end. Okay? Let's get after it. Revelation 16, verse 1. Then I heard a loud voice, the 7 angels, go and pour out on the earth the 7 bowls of the wrath of God. So the first angel went and poured out his bowl on the earth, and it became a loathsome and malignant sore on the people who had the mark of the beast and who worshipped his image. This is one of those things that this particular judgment, I don't think it will necessarily wait till the end. It's one of the few that I think will more than likely start somewhere not long after it happens. Maybe enough time for all who are going to take the mark get the mark, or at least the vast majority of them, or it'll happen as they take it. Again, both those theories are exactly what they are. They're theories. It's speculation. I can't prove it one way or the other. In my mind, it's just how I see it unfolding. Like maybe within 24 hours of receiving the mark, your body starts to develop malignant sores. Now, it doesn't tell us exactly, it doesn't say if these are boils or what exactly they are. It doesn't give it a name. But loathsome and malignant sores. It's gross. I mean, there's just no way that can be a good thing. I mean, it has to be uncomfortable. And here's the key feature of these sores. At this point in time, they are all taking the seal, the mark of the Antichrist, okay? So they are pledging their allegiance to the devil. And what do you think he's doing for them? If everyone takes this, I would imagine the vast majority probably work for him at this point, I would imagine. If he's in control of the world, it'll be one world government. Most people under him probably work for him in one capacity or another. So they're probably very well compensated. They're probably not making minimum wage. It's just a hunch. This bowl, this wrath, they have no physical comfort whatsoever. It does not matter how much they make, what they own. Their body will be covered with malignant sores. Not totally unlike the locusts. It's probably whenever they receive this wrath, it's probably going to remind them of the locusts. It's going to be that kind of discomfort. Only they can kill themselves if it gets too much. But once you survive 5 months of locusts, what's malignant sores at this point? Verse 3, the second angel poured out his bowl into the sea, and it became blood like that of a dead man, and every living thing in the sea died. Now it says the sea. You think it's just talking about one sea? Well, earlier judgment turned one of the seas into blood. So which sea is this? Well, I'm pretty sure it's all salt water. It's going to be literally all the oceans. Now, it doesn't quite give us that definitive every ocean says the sea, but we already know some of the seas are already blood. There's probably only one or two left, so just basic logic, I'm pretty sure this is all saltwater sources. Or all salt, everything but fresh water, basically. Every large body of water. That's just kind of what I've determined from that. And everything that lives via salt water, basically, the ocean, the sea, however you want to call it, is dead. There's no more fish, there's no more whales, there's no more Loch Ness Monster. Everything that lived there died. Now, I want you guys to notice the description of the blood. This is the blood of a dead man. Everyone has cut themselves at one point in time in their life and they've seen the blood dry. That's not uncommon. But have you seen blood coagulate? Have you seen it congeal? It's not like Jell-O. It becomes thick and almost mucusy. I mean, it's really like the viscosity as I was thinking about this, as I was studying for this, I had this really cool image in my head that I'm pretty sure was a God thing. Why did God command Moses to command the Israelites to do animal sacrifices? Anybody know why? No? Nobody knows? Why animal sacrifices? What is blood? Life. That's the word you're looking for. Blood is life. So, blood in that context is alive. Now, in order to stay alive, it has to be within a body of some sorts. But it's alive. It's comprised, the liquid comprised of water and blood cells and oxygen, all the things that are in blood. And in its fresh state, it's very viscous. It's not very viscous. It's very low viscosity. It's very fluid-like. Because it's mostly water more than anything. But blood ultimately is life. And it's alive. And when blood dies, it's not all that different from when people die. Bodies begin to decompose, but ours is more physical. This is a liquid death. Blood congeals, it thickens, it rots, it stinks, it smells. Imagine all the salt waters on the planet being turned into blood. It's going to be gnarly. And not just blood, a dead man's blood. Which means nothing that breathes salt water can survive. Any boats or anything you had that could move in it cannot move now. There's no way a ship could move through dead blood. There's not a paddle boat, there's not a nothing. The weight of dead blood would be more than anything could bear for too long. I mean, you'd have to have a real special kind of boat that was designed to go through that. And I don't know of one that exists, and I highly doubt they'll ever get one to exist. And I'll explain why I don't think they will later. But also at this point, you'll have to remember how many people are left on the earth. I speculate somewhere ballparked around 1 billion. If you went by today's statistics. Somewhere maybe less than that even. It's not a lot considering we're at 6 billion now. You know? And more than likely several continents were wiped out and eradicated of all life. To include animals through some of these judgments. So likely if you weren't living over on the European continent somewhere, the Middle East, you're not like to be alive at this point. It's highly improbable. All right, verse 4. Then the third angel poured out his bowl into the rivers and the springs of waters, and they became blood. And I heard an angel of the waters saying, Righteous are you who are and who were, O Holy One, because you judged these things. For they have poured out the blood of saints and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink. They deserve it. I heard the altar saying, Yes, O Lord, the Almighty, true and righteous are your judgments. Okay, this is the third bowl. It has now turned all fresh water into blood. Even if they had a means to convert salt water efficiently, convert salt water to fresh water, first God's like, this is your backup plan. I'm taking that away. And now I'm going to take away your actual water. I believe the Bible is going to play a key role in events that are going to happen. Maybe not a actual Bible, because the Antichrist is indwelt by Satan. And I promise you, Satan knows the Bible better than any of us do. He could probably quote it front to back, I would imagine. Not only does he know it, he's been using it to fight Christians with it, but he also saw and was present for all of it. And an angel, being an angelic being, likely does not have the problem that humans have of forgetting things. He probably has a perfect memory. That's just a guess, but in my head I don't see angels forgetting things. It just seems like one of those things that, God should say, hey, Gabriel, go to so-and-so, and he knows exactly who that is and where they are. So, now, the whole world has been robbed of fresh water sources. Now, it does not say it here, but I'm going to put an except in there. Except for Petra. God promised that he would, in our description of the woman with the moon under her feet, she was fled to the wilderness, and God cared for her. Well, if man needs water, I'm pretty sure God's providing water in Petra somewhere. So, the rest of the world, what are they relying on? Well, all it says here is that the springs and the oceans have been turned to blood. So as far as we know, God did not turn all the water, all fresh water on the planet to blood. If it's been bottled, I'm pretty sure it's going to stay bottled. Because the average human can survive roughly 3 days with no water. You will die within 72 hours without having water. Or something that is consistent of water. Something that your body can extract water out of. Be it Gatorade, be it soda. I don't think you can live on soda forever. I think eventually your body would die if you had nothing but soda to drink, but you have something. Your body pulls water from that. So, these people are now living on nothing but what they have bottled or canned. Does Satan, if Satan knows this word as well as we believe he does, is he going to be stockpiling water? Yeah. But how much water can you stockpile? I mean, reasonably. Could you literally have a mountain of water the size of the Eiffel Tower? I mean, it has to be functional to some degree. You can't have a pile so big that there's so much weight on top of the water, it crushes the water beneath it. Okay, so no matter how much water you say you stockpile, you can only stockpile so much in any one place. So, I think it's safe to say that this particular, and since these bowls will happen in this order, I believe it's safe to say that this will be very near the end. Maybe a month or two. Enough time so that people who are left, who are not inside Petra, will have time, will have enough water to survive to the end. Because if everybody died of thirst, what would the Antichrist have? He will bring armies against Christ. Two of them, two separate places. He's going to come against Christ with an army. So obviously these people have to be alive. And then you see here that God receives praise for his righteous judgments. And I like it. I really do. I'm going to read it again. For they poured out the blood of the saints and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink. Now, here's an interesting question. Will the blood, the oceans that have been turned to blood, will that blood be different than the blood in the freshwater rivers? Is it the same blood? Is the blood in the sea salty blood, and they're not? You follow up with another question. Can you drink blood and survive? I think so. I don't know, no. Because there's water. Your blood is made up predominantly of water. At that point, no. No. But it says he turned them into blood. So theoretically, the source of the fresh water that's blood is fresh blood. It says the blood in the sea is as dead man's blood. It doesn't say the same thing about the water in the